Ayun, good morning at magandang gabi po sa ating lahat, sa ating mga kaibigan sa Global Nurse TV. At meron tayong bagong bisita, pero hindi na siya bago sa world of nursing. Huwag nga masabi natin na siya siyang expert no, sa larangan ng ating career o sa ating nursing field. Walang iba kundi si Doc Jose Arnold Tariga. Pero sir, gusto pang dagdagan yung introduction ko para naman, kasi alam mo sir, baka may makalimutan ako, nakakaya naman sa'yo. Okay lang ba?
No problem, Doc Richard. So good evening po, Doc Richard, and good morning, good evening, or good afternoon sa mga friends po natin all over the world. Kasi I believe na madaming nagbo-watch sa channel mo, Doc. So my name is Jose Arnold Tariga. I am a nurse by profession, and I always introduce myself as an educator by passion kasi that has always been the thing that I've done over the past few years. So basically, I've been a nurse po for the past 14 years na, and then most of my experiences are a mix of clinical and non-clinical. So I think we will be able to discuss later as to the career pathway that I followed through since I started as a nurse. And then aside from being a nurse, I'm very big into professional development as well. So while I was doing my bedside and clinical nursing, I also pursued my postgraduate studies. I also pursued some certifications in relation to education kasi yun na po yung path na naging na parang sinunod ko when I worked in the Middle East. But before that, Dr. Richard, if you don't mind, I would like to give a shout out po sa mga
importante yan.
Yes, sa mga friends and families ko po. So, shout out po sa family ko na nasa Bohol, sina Mama Helen, Papa Verb, yung sister ko na si Beverly, brother si Julius, Erlin, si Bibi Kate and Bibi Liam. Tapos lahat ng friends ko din po at relatives na nasa Bohol, friends na nasa Middle East, sa Abu Dhabi and Al Ain. I believe they will be happy to watch this channel as well. At saka yung mga friends ko po na dito din sa US, sa different states sa US. Actually, karamihan sa mga friends ko from UAE, nagsilipara na din dito sa US po. Kaya madami-dami din tayong friends na scattered all over the different states. Tsaka sa mga friends ko, mga newly found friends ko dito sa Massachusetts, sina RJ, Lailani, Ate Rhea, Kuya Johnson, Steven, Christian, Kuya Steve, and Kuya Thomas, who have been very helpful and accommodating sa paglipat ko dito. So,
wow.
Yun.
Siyempre sir, binabati kita, no? Congratulations. At nandito ka na sa Boston. Ayun.
Yes, Doc. Yeah, I'm actually very grateful and excited as well to move to the US. To be honest, it was not part of my dream initially kasi parang naging happy naman ako sa Middle East kasi. But then at one point, a lot of my workmates and colleagues started moving to the US. So parang na-motivate din ako na maglipat bahay. And I think a lot of us, and I think you can attest as well, having lived in the US, na dito sa US kasi we can settle, we can plan for the long term. And I think that is what I was aiming na din. Kasi syempre tumatanda na tayo, and it will always be good for us to find a place to settle, find a place that we can call home. So yeah, I'm very excited actually, and I really look forward as to what Boston, what Massachusetts, or what US will bring to me as a person and to my career as a nurse.
Ayun sir, madami kayong sinabi ha. Pero sir, ito talagang itatanong ko sa'yo, yung nursing world mo. Sir, sino ba yung nag-influensya sa'yo para maging nurse ka ba? Ito ba sa pamilya nyo, mga kaibigan mo na binanggit dyan?
So, actually Doc, walang parang nag-influence sa akin when I started the career pathway. Kasi parang nung nag-high school ako, parang naging uso lang yung nung nag-fourth year ako, parang naging uso yung nursing lang na sabi nila, uy, mag-nurse ka kasi daw. Parang one-way ticket daw yan para makapag-abroad. Sabi nila, hindi naman naging madali actually yung pag-abroad. So, anyways, dati takot talaga ako sa mga dugo-dugo. Kaya sabi ko, ayokong mag-nurse. Tapos nung nagsimula akong mag-nursing, actually 'di ba may exposure tayo sa different units. Yung first exposure ko sa operating room, nung may nakita akong blood, nag-collapse ako, Doc. Kasi takot talaga ako sa mga dugo. Oo.
Talaga?
Oo, pero Eventually naman, I think in the next, after the first few exposures, parang naging okay naman ako. And then I think once kasi na-expose ka sa mga pasyente, once you start establishing rapport, parang naging okay na din yung pakiramdam ko sa profession, and I fell in love with it. So kaya pinursu ko talaga siya.
Ayun. Yan ba sir, after maipasa mo yung NLE natin, ikaw ba ay nag-hospital agad o nagtrabaho ka pa sa ibang company?
So, ang nangyari kasi sa batch namin, parang may nag-review, dumaan kami sa review center bago kami So, parang after pumasa ako ng NLE, kinuha ako ng review center para magtrabaho sa kanila for a year as an associate review director and a part-time reviewer as well.
Wow.
Oo. Tapos, after nun, parang sabi ko, I think I would want to try experiencing working in the clinical area. So, I moved to Cebu, if you know Chongma Hospital, which is one of the biggest in the region. So, I started working there in the medical surgical area and then moved into intensive care unit. So, basically, I was an ICU nurse before I moved out of the Philippines.
Wow. Nakailang years ka dyan sir sa ICU?
3 years, Doc.
Mahaba din ano? So after ng Philippines mo, saan ka na sumunod na pumunta? Nag-abroad ka na ba agad?
Oo, so ang nangyari noon, I think it's not it's not news to everyone na the salary range for Filipino nurses are quite low. So I started looking for opportunities abroad. At that time, actually I considered going to the US, but then I think at the time the wait for US visas was quite very slow. So I ended up looking for opportunities in the Middle East. So the options before were like going to Saudi or going to UAE. So I opted for UAE kasi sabi nila it's an open country, which was actually quite nice as well. I moved in the UAE sa 2013. And then I worked in a hospital for a long-term ventilated unit na parang rehabilitation din. Bale, nagamit ko din naman yung experience ko as an ICU nurse kasi karamihan sa mga patients namin doon are mechanically ventilated patients.
Wow. So sir, from Philippines, abroad, so ano yung mga challenges na experience mo naman as a Filipino nurse abroad? So, saka paano mo ito nalampasan? Mga challenges dyan?
Medyo madami-dami talaga, Doc, ang mga na-experience ko. And in fact, for those people who have worked with me and who know me, they were they were witnesses of how challenging it was for me as a Filipino nurse working abroad. And well, I can only speak as to my experiences in the Middle East kasi bago pa lang din naman ako dito sa US, so I cannot really say na I've struggled a lot except for the transition itself. Pero sa Middle East kasi, in the UAE, I've worked for 9 years. So doon ko talaga na-experience na ma-discriminate being an Asian. It was not very easy for me to move into positions, even if I had the qualifications kasi I was looked at as a Filipino. And I'm not so sure if you've worked in the Middle East, but then kasi doon, you will be looked at based on your passport. So even for the salary, the compensation, kung Asian ka, ganito lang yung bracket mo. At tapos parang you will be placed in a specific mold. So for example, yan, kung Asian ka, you will not be allowed to go for parang leadership positions. So yun yung naging parang struggle ko, and in fact, and I've shared this in kasi I've talked in Sigma. If you're familiar with Sigma, I had one webinar with Sigma about professional development. I'm very open to my experience. I was actually demoted once in the Middle East, yeah. So yun yung parang mga grabe yung parang struggles doon. But and of course, I think as normal human beings, like when you encounter challenges like that, hindi madaling bumalik ulit at hindi madaling mag-pick up sa sarili mo. But then I'm just grateful na I had good friends who shared their wisdom, to give me some advices on how to help myself up. I also did self-help by listening to podcasts, motivational podcasts, reading books, prayer. It really helped a lot. So I eventually overcame it through all those things. So after that, I've changed my mentality as a person and as a nurse na, I always try to look at the brighter side of things. And ngayon ang mantra ko na is that if something bad happens to me, I will always consider that, it's not necessarily bad in the sense that it will redirect me to the next path that is for me. Kasi yung challenges na yon, actually it led me to where I am right now. Kaya
Wow.
I think the mentality itself is one of the parang biggest instrument ko para ma-overcome yung mga challenges na yon.
Wow. Yan na sana maging attitude natin, ano? Kapag may challenges, kailangan we're going to make some ways para malaban natin yung ating... Kasi pag mga ganyan, Dok, usually natidepress tayo, di ba? So, sa experience mo, meron kang ginawang mga diversional na activities, nagbabasa ka, nagka-podcast ka. Ayun. So, Doc, paano naman itong what about, kasi you mentioned about naging educator ka, di ba? So, what are the most passionate about yung mga ganun?
So, as well, in relation to my previous experience, Doc, so yung my backstory for my transition from being a nurse at the bedside moving to an educator role, yun nga kasi when I was demoted, na depressed talaga. I actually went through depression. It was a mild depression, I would say. And then I just woke up one day and realized na if hindi ko i-pick up yung self ko, then nothing will happen. So I shifted my attention to clinical education, which I really enjoyed din naman. Tapos started applying as an education link nurse. Initially, it was also difficult kasi when I applied for the position, they also did not give it to me kasi I'm not Western trained. So ang daming nangyayari. So alam mo yung parang doors after doors na nag-close doors talaga siya. But then I just pursued it, and at the time as well, I was already pursuing my PhD in education via distance learning sa Central Luzon State University. So it helped me, like mix the theory and the practical part of being a nurse educator. So after that, parang naging passionate talaga ako sa clinical education, professional development, at saka healthcare quality din. Kasi parang sabi ko, pwede mo siyang i-mix yung tatlo so that you can have better outcomes, not just for nurses, but also for patients.
Alright, so marami kang pangarap, di ba? Paramdam ko sa'yo marami kang pangarap. So, paano mo na-pursue yung passion mo as a educator, as a nurse? Parang mahirap yun,
So, I would say, Doc, that I'm very ambitious. But then one thing that I've learned, especially in terms of pursuing this type of things, is to have to step back and really see what do you want for your life. Kasi karamihan, and ito din yung natututunan ko lately na every time I talk to somebody and ask them, where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years? Kasi most of the time, we always think that, this is a question during interviews. Actually, it's not. It should be a regular question by you to yourself so that you will know where are you heading. Kasi for us, if we want to pursue something, whatever you're doing right now should be aligned to where you would want to go in the future. Hindi ka naman pwedeng gawa ka lang ng gawa ng something tapos wala palang patutunguhan doon. Diba? So it will be a waste of effort and energy. So for me, I always set plans and goals. I evaluate my goals kasi and I think you're familiar with SMART goals na specific, measurable, realistic, attainable, ganun, time-bound. So, nagsiset ako ng goals, I evaluate them, and then if I'm not reaching them, I try to see do I have to change my goals or can I do something about what I'm doing right now para ma-achieve ko yung goals na yon.
Wow, sarap pakinggan yan, ano? Ayun, Doc, hindi ba kasayot tayo mga nurses? Nasa abroad ka man o nasa Pilipinas tayo, meron tayong mga organization na sinasalihan Ikaw ba mahilig nang mag-join sa mga organization yan?
Oo. Yes, Doc. For me, I really recommend for nurses na mag-join sa mga professional organization. So actually, when I was in the Philippines, dati parang 'di ba, ang pinaka-common organization was the Philippine Nurses Association. And I thought before na they just want my money kasi my membership fee and stuff. But then I realized na actually they do provide a lot of services. It's just us not using the benefits, or the services that they offer. So when I worked abroad, I've been a member of different professional organizations. One of the biggest organization that I'm a member of, and which I'm still actively participating in, is the Sigma Theta Tau International Honor Society of Nursing. So it's actually the world's second largest nursing organization.
Wow, good to know.
So if you're not a member yet,
Di pa eh. Paano ba kami mag-member dyan? Turuan mo nga kami paano mag-member dyan.
I will share. There is a link for that. And then the good thing with Sigma is that they also have specific subgroups. So for example, whatever your specialization is, may mga specific groups sila. And then you can network with, same or like-minded professionals na pareho na specialization mo. You can get a lot of resources to help boost your career. And even it also opened job opportunities for me.
Yan lang kailangan ng mga nurses natin, yung mga link na yan.
Yes.
Kasi kung walang mga link, ganyan sir, mention about Sigma, no? Pali, ngayon ko lang narinig din yan eh. So ngayon, no? Yung mga nakarinig nito, malamang, wow, ma-research nga yan. Don't worry, inilagay ni Doc yan sa ibigay sa atin ni Doc yung link.
Oo, ibigay ko yung link sa Doc. At saka ilalagay din natin sa comment section ng
Yeah,
Yes.
Ayun, Doc, so nasa UE ka na, and then pwede mo may kwento sa amin kung yung paano naman narating yung US?
So yung US ko nga, Doc, actually initially I never really planned to go na to the US kasi parang for me I was so comfortable in the Middle East. Tapos my career started building up naman na, and I felt like I'm happy doing what I was doing there. But then parang later part, siguro after 7 years there, some of my friends started moving out of the country. So sabi ko, parang ayoko namang maiwan. And then, yun nga, I think I started weighing things out, like, living in the Middle East, maganda yung sahod without tax, at saka comfortable na yan. I've established my career. But then, it's not for the long term kasi we can never get a citizenship in the Middle East. The visa is working visa, so if they don't want you, then you can just be kicked out. I think that's the thing. And that is how I'm seeing it. So, and then when I looked at the US, there's a lot of opportunities. You can also possibly get the citizenship. Tapos, if you would want to pursue a specific field of specialization, you have the opportunity. Kasi ang dami kasi talagang field of specialization dito. So, sa Middle East kasi very limited. At saka yun nga, nag-a-affect, the way they look at nursing is very different. Unlike here in the US, wherein it's really like an autonomous profession.
And Doc, so you mentioned about continuing education. So, yun ba yung sa Harvard ba, yun isa sa mga pangarap mo na makarating sa Harvard?
Oh, Doc. Yeah, I never thought that I will be accepted sa Harvard. So as what I said, I'm very passionate about continuing education, professional development, and so I've been studying postgraduate studies even when I was in the Philippines, and then I still pursued it when I was in the Middle East. Tapos I started looking for opportunities on how to get into Ivy League schools. Parang sabi ko, mag-try nga mag-inquire at mag-apply. So I saw this postgraduate certificate offered by Harvard Medical School. It's a 1-year course for medical educators. So actually I did not think na matatanggap ako kasi one of the requirements kasi it was mostly parang geared siya for doctors or physicians na nag-educate sa mga medical schools, ganon. And then one of their basic requirement is to have a doctorate degree. So I said,
check.
Sabi ko, sige, may doctorate degree naman ako, and then I'm just not so sure if they'll recognize it because it's from the Philippines, but why not give it a try? And then another requirement was essay, a personal application essay. So I just wrote an essay and then reference letters, and then they also try to ask for publication. So luckily, yung mga nagawa kong research sa master's and my doctorate, and I did a few research projects in my previous workplace in the Middle East as well, I was able to publish them. So na parang sabi ko, parang may pang-requirement na ako. So I tried to apply, and then I also tried to apply for a scholarship so that I can have a discount. So luckily, they granted, they accepted, and then they also granted me the scholarship. So I'm very grateful talaga. So parang for me, it was like once in a lifetime opportunity to
Wow.
Harvard Medical School.
Saludo kami sa'yo, Doc. Doc, na-mention mo na naman itong research mo. Pwede mo pa may kwento sa amin kung ano yung research output mo?
So honestly, Doc, kasi I do not necessarily work entirely in the academe, and because for my friends who are in the academic settings, madami talaga kasi silang napapublish. At in fact, they are the ones who motivated me na to do something about what I'm doing in the clinical area. Kasi most of the time, yung mga educators natin na nasa schools, I think it's part of the requirements for them to go into different levels of professorship. So for us naman kasi sa clinical education, wala namang requirements. So it's really just up to you if you would want to pursue research. So ang nangyari, my researches were simple lang din naman. But I think the one that I would say that had a big impact was during the COVID time. So what happened was, meron kaming mga group of nurses. Di ba, Doc, ang nangyari? Nag-COVID, tapos biglang nagka-staffing shortage. So majority of the not majority, I think all of the hospitals around the globe.
Lahat talaga. Hanggang ngayon.
Hanggang ngayon, totoo. Nagkandarapang maghanap or mag-hire ng staff. So for the place that I worked before, kasi we are very specialized in terms of the patient population that we have, ventilated patient, critical care. Hindi naman kasi lahat ng nurses, di ba, may experience sa critical care or sa ICU. Not everyone is familiar with mechanical ventilator. So ang ginawa ko, I developed a module to upskill them. Kasi nag-hire kami ng mga nurses without training or with very minimal training on that specific area. Tapos ginawan ko siya ng research, and I try to evaluate whether nag-enhance ba yung competency at yung knowledge nila. At in a way, did it correlate sa satisfaction ng mga patients at improvement ng patient outcome. So for me, I know that it's not as complicated as the other researches, but it did make a difference for the organization, for the nurses themselves, kasi sabi nila, it boosted their competence and their confidence to take care of these critical patients. It improved our patient outcomes, and it increased the patient satisfaction as well. Luckily, it got accepted for publication. It got accepted for oral presentation during the International Council of Nursing Congress, sa Sigma Research Congress. So, I would say na somehow it made an impact.
Oh, interesting, Doc. Pwede ba namin mabasa yan?
Doc.
Nasalan na ba siya?
You can Google it.
Yan. Ilagay mo rin yan sa comment section natin.
Sige, Doc. For sure.
Alam mo, marami din naman sa mga nurses natin talaga into research din naman eh. Malay mo, di ba? Maging reference nila yung research study mo.
Oo, Doc.
Malaking tulong din niya sa atin.
And hopefully for some na may gustong mag-start into research, kasi parang everyone, if you're not in the academe, sometimes natatakot kang magsimulang mag-research. Actually, it can be daunting and it can be scary sometimes, but we can always connect with our colleagues na nasa academe to help us out. Of course, you have to acknowledge them, by maybe making them as co-authors sa research. But we can always start with simple ones and then progress to challenging ones.
Wow, Doc, busy ka, marami kang activities, ICU nurse ka, medical surgical, educator. Ito ba, paano ka nakapag-adjust sa mga ganong talentado ka eh? Paano mo na-adjust yan?
So,
sa sarili mo?
Sa akin na naman, Doc, I think adjustment just came along with passion. Kasi for me, if you're passionate with what you do, and if you really enjoy and love doing what you are doing, parang hindi siya mahirap gawin. So, kasi nung naging educator na ako, I really enjoy, I enjoy teaching. Plus, yun, parang nakasama na kasi sa teaching yung paggagawa ng research and all. So, parang naging ano lang siya, Doc. I'm not saying naman naging madali siya kasi, it took time, effort, energy, and all. Pero for me, I never got tired of doing it kasi parang gusto ko nga siya. Kaya I'm really encouraging everyone na nanonood sa atin ngayon, Doc, na if
Mm.
if there is something that you're passionate about in terms of the field of specialization sa nursing, try to pursue it. Kasi you cannot be doing something na parang hindi mo feel. Kasi ang mangyayari na, you will just be dragging yourself every day. And I'm not saying again, it's easy to jump from one field of specialization. You have to parang calculate things, You have to make certain sacrifices. So honestly, even now na I moved to the US, I'm going back to the bedside, and one of my friends asked me, "Is it not difficult for you na bumalik sa bedside? Kasi
Oh,
you've
yun nga.
teaching, you've been admin on leadership positions and stuff." I was like, it is difficult. I have to be honest, it is difficult, but this is my stepping stone pagpasok dito sa US. So, kasi for me as an educator, I cannot teach something to people if I do not know the system. So I need to know how things work here in the US, how the setting is, so that at a certain point, I can transition again into an educator role. But for me, my pathway, and I've always, nakasulat na yan, Doc, na my pathway I will transition as an educator, whether a clinical educator or an academic educator, if given the chance. Or I will create that opportunity for me. Kasi they said in US, skies is the limit.
Wow, mukhang may bago na akong idol ngayon ah. Si Dr. Jose Arnold.
Ambitious talaga ako, Doc.
Ang maraming maingganyo ngayon sa atin ito na mag-pursue ng education dahil sa'yo.
Let's go.
Let's go. Ayun, Doc. Pero yung ba, kusang dumating yan sa'yo o pinangarap mo yan? Yung ganung...
So, initially, Doc, hindi siya kusang dumating. As what I mentioned earlier, there was a turning point in my career. Yung na-demote ako. I think that was really...
Oh, okay. Yun talaga.
Yun talaga yung parang nag-redirect sa akin. And that's why, looking back, I can now say na I'm grateful for that experience. Kasi kung hindi nangyari sa akin yun, I might not be where I am right now, and I might not be so sure
Exactly.
as to what I really want to pursue. So, parang naging talaga yun siya. Turning point ng career at ng life ko. Mm-hmm.
So, okay lang pala yun na ma-demote tayo. At least, di ba? Nakikita natin na yung pag-demote sa atin, nandun pala yung strength natin na,
yes,
di ba? To move on.
yes, Doc. I totally agree with that.
Oo. So, doon mo na-discover yung sarili mo na kaya ko palang gawin ng ibang bagay na hindi ko pa nagagawa.
Oo. Kasi sometimes we tend to limit ourselves kasi, and then through adversity, doon mo makikita talaga yung real strength mo as a person.
Okay. Ayun, Doc. Grabe. So, busy ka, di ba? Ikaw ba, nagkaroon pa ng time para makapag-banding sa mga tropa mo, sa mga friends mo, travel abroad, mga ganon? Kasi marami ako nakikita ng mga Filipino nurse abroad na nagka-travel pa. Ikaw ba, nagawa mo rin yan?
Yes, Doc. At ito din yung i-advise ko din sa mga nurses, but if you're working abroad. Kasi karamihan kasi sa atin, Doc, I think we are so into thinking na, we go abroad para maghanap ng pera, which is true. But then sometimes we forget about ourselves. So, dapat may mga ganun ding din na, you treat yourself, of course, not too much to the point na maghirap ka din sa, it's a matter of balancing everything, earning money, giving time for yourself, balancing your finances as well. So yun. So, for me, nakahiligan ko talaga mag-travel, Doc. Dati takot din akong mag-travel kasi, sometimes you hear a lot about traveling na hindi daw safe, ganon. But then, when I started doing it, and I'm into solo traveling, the reason being is that minsan kasi parang ayaw kong may inaantay or ayaw ko ding inaantay. Kasi kung solo travel, siguro kung married ako, I would want to go with my wife. Pero I'm single naman, so, and I don't have a girlfriend, so it's nice to just be on your own during traveling. So I've been to I think more than 25 countries na.
Wow.
With them in Europe.
Ikaw na, Doc. Ikaw na.
Hindi naman, pero yun nga, Doc, I do not stay for long naman din sa mga countries na nabibisit ko. Like few days and then jump to another country kasi I don't have the luxury of having a lot of holidays din. Kasi sa abroad, I think even dito sa US, sabi nila mas kukonti nga daw yung leave days. I do not know how it works pa kasi I'm very new to this paid time off and stuff. But then sa Middle East, we have 30 days leave, paid leave every year. So, of course, what I do is like, minsan ay parang dinidivide ko yung na dapat makauwi ako sa Pilipinas to go home and meet my family, my parents. And then yung other half of my holidays for that year, I spend it usually during my birthday week. That's the usual, or my birth month. That's the usual time that I travel. Parang gift ko na din sa sarili ko. Oo. So there's a lot of beautiful places out there, Doc.
Ano mo yung mga napuntahan mo na? Pwede bang i-share sa amin? Makasakit na puntahan natin.
I've never been to a lot of Asian countries kasi my mentality is parang same kasi siya somehow sa Pilipinas. So I've only been to Singapore actually sa Asia. But then most of my travels have been in Europe kasi parang, it's very different from what we see, like even different to the Middle East. And I think there's a lot of culture in Europe. So the first European country that I visited was Spain in Barcelona. Kasi may mga cousins din ako na nakatira doon. I really fell in love with the place. It's very beautiful architecture-wise. Weather, it was quite hot when I went there. I've been to Portugal as well, Germany, France, in Paris because I think like everyone wants to see the Eiffel Tower, para mga ganun, Doc. Pero it's
na mga lugar.
Rome, Vatican City. So there's I've been to a few. I wouldn't say a lot, but a few places. And I would really recommend traveling if for those who have the time to try exploring it. And I think one of the misconception pala with traveling is that minsan iniisip natin na it's very expensive. Well, it can be if you opt for like mag-hotel ka or something, but there are cheaper options. You can go for Airbnb or something like that. So nurses, don't kill yourself na maghanap ng pera tapos sinitreat yung sarili nyo. Please do something. If you're not into traveling, then maybe just do some other stuff na nakakapagpa-relax sa inyo. Kasi you also deserve to treat yourself kasi you work hard.
Yun, tama yan, Dok. Talagang agree ako dyan.
Ikaw ba, Doc, nagre-rest ka ba? Kasi parang busy ka din eh. Masyadong busy ka din sa mo eh.
Ganun din, travel. Kasi medyo 4 years old pa lang yun ako eh. Kaya medyo limited lang yung napuntahan namin. Sa mga pambata, syempre, yung pupuntahan namin. So, siguro pag malaki-laki na, gagayahin din kita.
And I think, Doc, and this is what I'm looking forward to here in the States kasi it's a very big country as well. Tapos parang each state has different things to offer. So
Tama.
I'm really actually looking forward na makakuha na ng sasakyan and I'm gonna go on road trips din dito sa US.
Yun. Tsaka baka mamaya, isang taon ka pa na naikot mo ng 50 states.
Never know.
Pero syempre, dahil ka dito para naman, di ba?
Oo, syempre, Doc. Oo.
Ayun, Doc. So, ito ba ang ating pandemic ngayon, ano? So, paano mo hinaharap yan bilang isang nurse, ang educator? Paano ba hinarap ang pandemic? Nasaan ka ba noon, ng pandemic? Talagang kasalukuyan?
I was in Doc. I was in the Middle East pa at the time. And it was also a big transition for me kasi at that time naglipat din ako ng employer. So actually when it came up, so I was already doing the nurse educator job. Medyo challenging siya, Doc, kasi 'di ba it came and then nobody knew how to deal with it and what to do with it. Tapos yung staffing shortage, it's really impacted a lot sa clinical education kasi parang nakalimutan na yung education, lahat bedside na lang kasi 'di ba kailangan may So ang nangyari sa akin, they pulled me out from my role. Tapos nilagay ako, pinag-handle ako ng mga patient. Ang masaklap doon kasi ha-handle ka ng patient, at the same time they expect you to deliver what you're supposed to be doing as an educator. So, kasi ang daming staff na pumapasok, gusto nila magawa mo yung induction orientation, magawa mo yung mga competencies ng mga staff, magawa mo yung additional training, which was very difficult for me kasi yun nga, nag-handle na ako ng patient na mga critical patients, mga ventilated. Tapos, may mga bago kailangan ko pang i-orient, i-precept. So, I struggled. And eventually I was able to find my footing as an educator. Kaya yun, it was challenging, but it was also a point of growth, I guess, not just for me, but I think for everyone, on how to adapt to this type of situation. And I guess parang naging normalized naman lang siguro lahat for us ngayon na, like worse, because I would not say that we are post-pandemic. I would say that we are still in the pandemic kasi parang hindi na natatapos tong mga variant kasi, Doc, 'di ba?
Yeah.
Yun yung struggle.
Pero yung mga area mo, yung ba gusto mo? ICU, rehab, gusto mo rin ba talaga yan? Or...
If I have to be honest, okay, when I started kasi most of us we start as parang nurse generalist, 'di ba? Parang medical surgical usually pumapasok. And then yung when I was younger, I wanted to try intensive care kasi parang sabi ko, wow, if you are an ICU nurse, parang ang taas ng tingin ng tao for ICU nurses. Or for all specialized areas anyways, kasi minsan pag medical surgical parang yun nga, nurse generalist na yung connotation sa atin. And then I pursued ICU nursing. I really enjoyed it actually. It's quite busy, it's challenging sometimes, ang tagal mong makauwi kasi yung patient mo, alam mo yon, very critical, but then it's very fulfilling as well kasi doon mo talaga makita na dying patients and you are able to save them, and tapos after a few days naglalakad na, so it's quite amazing. But then yun, nung nag-transition ako as long-term ventilated unit nurse plus rehab, I never dreamt of it. I think that was the only parang available opportunity at the time that I wanted to go abroad. Kaya yun, tapos yun, parang incidental na lang din na nag-shift ako into clinical education, but I fell in love with education. Kaya I'm really staying on that pathway. So itong transition ko ngayon sa US, Doc, as what I mentioned earlier, I did not dream of this one to become a rehab nurse. For me, this is just ito lang kasi din yung opportunity nung pagpasok dito, if I have to be honest. I'm not saying that I'm being choosy or picky, like this is an opportunity, I'm grabbing this so that I can come to the US. But like how I survived the Middle East, I will also try to find opportunities, and I will grab that opportunity to teach or become a clinical educator if it comes. And I believe it will kasi madami namang opportunities talaga dito. It's a matter of finding.
Of course, madami dito. Talagang magagamit mo yan, Doc. So yung pala yung nagano sa'yo, yung bit mo, yung pagiging rehab nurse mo, yung dinala mo sa US.
Oo, yun, Doc. Yung, kasi yun nga, rehab nursing.
Naging ticket mo.
Naging ticket ko yun. And I'm very grateful nga na kasi parang yun yung tumulong for me to transition to US.
Ayun. Usapan mo natin sa US, yung experience lang. Pagdating mo sa airport, ano naramdaman mo?
Hindi ako makapaniwala, Doc, na actually sabi ko, oh my God, andito na pala talaga ako sa US. This is it. Alam mo yun, parang, kasi dati, I only see US sa TV, yung mga movies, di ba? Like, we watch a lot of Hollywood movies. Tapos sabi ko, oh my God, andito na pala talaga ako sa US. I actually entered California kasi when I came in here.
California.
Sa friend, nakistay muna ako sa friend ko bago ako nag-Massachusetts. So yun, tapos, tinura ko ng friend ko. Shout out din pala sa friend ko na si Karen.
Makalimutan mo pa.
Oo, sa Montclair. And Aram as well, who have been very kind to tour me around. And then si Jelly Camini, then si Jeka, and then si Jocelyn, who are also, these are also nurses, Doc, who are also working in different cities in California. They have been very kind to accommodate me, tour me around California. So punta kami ng Hollywood and all those places. So it was like, it was very surreal for me when I came.
Ayun, Doc, nako, mahaba-haba ng usapan natin at marami ka na na-share, no? At sigurado yan at marami kaming napulot sa'yo na siyempre magagamit din namin sa bilang isang nurse, yung mangarap na maging isang nurse, yun. So, Doc, isang katanungan na lang. Baka meron ka pang gustong i-share na hindi ko na itanong? Meron pa ba?
I think natanong mo naman na lahat, Doc.
Tanong ko na lahat? Sabi mo na rin na binata ka, di ba?
Yun. Binata pa pala ako.
Ayun. So, Doc, ito na lang. Ko sa'yo. May tanong kasi lahat sinabi mo na eh. Ano pa palang gusto mo maliban sa Harvard? Pagkatapos yan, meron ka pang next steps?
I do not know actually, Doc. I think whatever comes, for me naman kasi if there are opportunities to study pa farther, especially if I don't have to pay a lot, like, you know,
Yun, importante yan.
oo, no, kasi ang mahal pala ng education kasi talaga dito. So, kung ang facility is willing naman mag-sponsor and they just want me to work, just to pay them off, then I would be happy to pursue another
Oo.
degree or another course. Oo.
Sipag.
Mm.
Sipag
Hanggang
na
sige
club.
pa.
Naikot mo na ba, ilan na bang naikot mo dyan? In Boston, ano bang naikot mo na dyan?
Yung mga typical, actually, hindi ko kasi memorize yung mga locations talaga, Doc, eh. Pero yung parang, ano ba yun, mga park nila sa Boston, pumunta din ako sa Harvard mismo, tapos sa MIT, at saka sa Massachusetts General Hospital. So yung mga parang mga landmarks nila, pinuntahan ko. And actually, it's very beautiful actually. Na-enjoy ko dito.
Ayun, Doc. So, ito, dalawang tanong na lang. So, ano yung maging advice mo naman sa mga nurses na nandito na nasa ibang bansa pa na gusto rin maging kagaya mo na masipag mag-aral? Ano bang sikreto mo? Di ba i-share mo sa kanila? Ano advice mo sa kanila?
I think my ang pinaka-main ko talagang advice, Doc, is really to, have a step back and see or contemplate as to what you really want to pursue in your career and in your life. Kasi I think some of us, kung hindi kasi clear ang gusto mong path, sometimes mangangarag ka talaga, hindi mo talaga alam kung whatever you're doing right now will pay off at the end. Kasi yun nga, parang wala ka kasing direction na tinatahak. So find that direction. Find that, kung sa American Heart Association pa, what is your why? Find your why. Para alam mo na, pag alam mo yung why mo, then you will pursue it, and whatever you're doing right now, it will be aligned to that. And pag nakita mo na yung why mo, then dedicate your time, your effort, your energy on achieving it. So kahit pa kasi, for me, and this is based on my experience, kahit pa may mga doors na magsara, kung sigurado ka kung ano na yung patutunguhan mo, you will always be redirected to that. Kaya, yun, find your why, and then doon ibuhos mo yung ano. And then, of course, try to work hard for it. Try to persevere. Do not easily get frustrated kasi one thing for sure, you cannot get everything that you want in just a snap of a finger talaga. As in, I think, Doc Richard, you can attest to this kasi I think for those of us na nag-pursue ng American dream, it was never easy. It was not handed to us in just a day. Like it took years for us to reach US and to reach the careers that we are in right now. So hindi talaga siya madali. But then I think this is one thing that you have to know. If you work hard for whatever you would want to achieve, you will always reap something out of it. Okay? If not success, then at least you get a lesson that you can use for the next step that you are doing.
Yun, napakaliwanag niyan, Doc. Maraming salamat sa iyo at pinagbigyan mo kami, ating mga kaibigan sa Global Nurse TV, at marami kaming natutunan ng mga words of wisdom through your experiences. Sa edad mo yan, 34 years old, batang-bata, ano? Grabe.
Thank you so much, Doc Richard. Kasi I'm very grateful that you are having this platform. Kasi I've seen not all but most of the videos that you've posted in your channel, and actually it's very informative kasi iba't ibang mga experiences, iba't ibang mga field of specialization ng mga Filipino nurses around the globe, mga rakista na mga in-interview mo. So thank you so much for inviting me, and thank you so much for establishing this platform kasi actually you're helping a lot of people.
Yun, salamat din, Doc, at sigurado yan, marami ka ng fans niyan. Doc, huwag mo kalimutan yung link na may share sa amin. Yun, at last na lang, baka meron ka pang sabihin.
Wala na, Doc. Wala na? Shout out na lang ulit, Doc, sa mga So yung mga friends ko lahat dyan, please, if you have time, if you can watch this video, tapos subscribe to Dr. Richard's channel kasi madami kayong matututunan sa The Global Nurse TV channel. So Doc Richard, pag share mo na to sa social media, i-share mo din yung link ng channel mo para yung mga friends ko din na nurses can also subscribe. Another thing, Doc, I would encourage everyone, if you're not really into connecting professionally, I think everyone is familiar naman with LinkedIn. So it's like Facebook, but for professionals. I really encourage everyone to have an active LinkedIn account and connect with like-minded professionals. Kasi for me personally, it opened a lot of opportunities. It opened a lot of networks, which can actually help guide you, especially kung may gusto kayong path na ifa-follow. So yun pala, isa din yan.
Yun, very well said, sir. Salamat sa iyo ha. At nako, pinuyat na kita.
No problem. It's my pleasure.
Ayun, sir. Good luck sa iyo dyan at enjoy. At balang araw magkikita rin tayo, okay?
Okay, thank you so much, Dr.
Yes, sir.
Richard.
God bless po.
God bless you po. Good night.
Night.